Today, you are going to witness the definitive ranking of the greatest performances. Interpretations so intense, they destroyed the actors themselves and forever changed the history of cinema, marking entire generations. Get ready, because this is the most controversial top you will ever see.
C'est à moi qui parle là. Oh, c'est à moi que tu parles. Mec, c'est à moi qui parle, ce cul. C'est à moi qui parle, putain. C'est à moi que tu parles comme ça, mec.
In La Haine, Vincent Cassel becomes Vince, a young man who embodies all the rage and despair of the Parisian suburbs. His deranged gaze, unpredictable gestures, and that energy on the verge of exploding make every scene feel like a real threat. He doesn't play a delinquent. He is violence made flesh, a boy pretending to be a gangster, but whose fury is authentic, fueled by humiliation and poverty. Cassel gives the character brutal intensity, a body always in tension, a voice spitting hatred, and a face that shifts from irony to madness in a second. With Vince, he doesn't just portray a marginal youth, but an entire generation on the brink of social collapse. The greatest actress of all time could not be left out. Meryl Streep transforms into Karen Silkwood, a nuclear plant worker who begins to denounce irregularities. What is striking about her performance is not only the social denunciation, but how she embodies the breakdown of an ordinary woman facing a corporate monster. Every gesture conveys exhaustion, rage, and restrained fear, but also an unbreakable dignity. What devastates is how extremely real it feels. The viewer almost forgets they are watching a film, because what Streep does in Silkwood is disappear completely to give life to one of the rawest struggles in cinema history.
What?
45,000.
Naomi Watts, my favorite actress, delivers one of the most devastating performances in history in Funny Games. She plays a mother who watches as two young men destroy her family before her eyes. What makes it so terrifying is not just the explicit violence, but the way Watts transmits pure terror. Her broken breathing, screams ripped from the depths of her being, the empty stare after trauma. Haneke pushes her to the limit of humiliation and helplessness, turning her character into an unbearable mirror for the audience. From the happiness of a mother to the most absolute trauma, Naomi Watts embodies a woman enduring the most unjust and horrible situation imaginable.
Come on, sit down. Hold up, Lucas. Vil du sige noget til mig? Hvad? Kom nu! Hold op, Lucas! Tag det roligt. Hele byen står og hører på dig, mand. Tag det roligt, ikke? Sig det! Tag det roligt, Lucas. Hold mig af, Lucas.
Mads Mikkelsen delivers one of the most painful and restrained performances of recent history in the Hunt. He plays a man falsely accused of abusing a child. What makes his work so brutal are not outbursts of rage, but the opposite. Broken calm, dignity slowly destroyed. Every vacant look, every uncomfortable silence conveys an unbearable injustice. Mikkelsen doesn't need to shout for us to understand his world is collapsing. It is enough to see the way his eyes fill with fear and shame in front of the crowd. It is a portrait of absolute loneliness, of how a lie can shatter an innocent man.
Oh, Jerry, I love this guy.
Robert De Niro shows in The King of Comedy that the most disturbing terror can hide beneath a smile. His Rupert Pupkin is a man obsessed with fame, an aspiring comedian caught between pathetic naivety and contained psychopathy. The brilliance of his performance is that you never know whether to laugh at him or fear him. With awkward gestures, childlike enthusiasm, and a gaze that slowly reveals something dark, De Niro creates an uncomfortable portrait of fanaticism and loneliness. Every desperate attempt at notoriety is painful to watch, because we understand that beneath that comedic facade lies a broken mind. In Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Bette Davis delivered one of the most legendary performances in history. Baby Jane Hudson is not just a washed-up former child star, but the embodiment of resentment and madness. With grotesque makeup and that twisted smile, Davis turns every gesture into a disturbing spectacle. Her vacant, cruel gaze mixes hatred and pity, making us despise her, yet feel compassion at the same time. What is extraordinary is her total commitment, fearless of ridicule, without filters, creating a visceral portrait that remains unmatched today, and defined what it means to pour your soul into a role.
I'm walking here! Up yours, you son of a bitch! You don't talk me that way! Get out of here!
In Midnight Cowboy, Dustin Hoffman transforms into Ratso Rizzo with such brutal commitment that he redefined what acting meant in Hollywood. It's not makeup or artifice, it's pure truth. Hoffman drags his feet with a realistic limp, coughs as if his lungs are destroyed, and every glance conveys a mix of rancor and tenderness impossible to fake. The moment he shouts, "I'm walking here," wasn't in the script. It was an instinctive outburst, the city hitting actor and character at the same time. Ratso is decadent, dirty, pathetic, but also human and vulnerable.
Would you hold still, please, sir?
Anton Chigurh is the most realistic psychopath in cinema, according to science, and Javier Bardem builds him with surgical coldness. His absurd haircut and unsettling silence already create unease, but it is in his way of speaking, dry, measured, as if every word weighed tons, that psychopathy is revealed. He doesn't need to shout or lose control. He kills with the calm of someone breathing. Everything about him seems detached from humanity. His walk, his vacant stares, his barely perceptible smile. Bardem doesn't play a killer. He becomes a force of fate, inevitable, unstoppable. That's why his performance went down in history. Isabelle Huppert delivers in The Piano Teacher one of the rawest and most disturbing performances in history. Erica Kohut is a woman trapped between repression and desire, unable to experience love without self-destruction. Huppert doesn't need grand gestures. Every rigid look, every awkward silence reveals a volcano on the verge of eruption. The scene where she wounds herself is devastating, showing how the violence she cannot direct outward, she unleashes against herself. Her relationship with her mother is a constant, suffocating war, which Huppert turns into pure, contained pain. She achieves a masterful portrayal of repression and extreme perversion, making clear why this performance is considered one of the boldest and most extreme ever filmed. Naomi Watts delivers in Mulholland Drive the performance that launched her into cinema history. She plays two opposite characters: Betty, radiant with tenderness and freshness, like a luminous dream, and Diane, where illusion shatters and her face becomes a map of pain, jealousy, frustration, madness. The audition scene, where she switches in seconds from sweetness to fiery passion, is a masterclass in acting. Watts embodies both the hope and nightmare of Hollywood, and does so with chilling realism. A performance that is pure emotional vertigo and defined an entire era.
Get down, Jack. Back.
Mabel.
Get back to your coffin.
Mabel,
Get back.
I will
Back.
never hurt you.
Back!
Gina Rowlands in A Woman Under the Influence offers a performance that seems ripped from real life. You're not watching an actress. You're witnessing a mind breaking in real time. As Mabel, she teeters unbearably between tenderness and collapse, as if every gesture could be the last before catastrophe. Rowlands conveys the fragility of someone who wants to love but doesn't know how, trapped in an environment that doesn't understand her. The realism is so brutal, it becomes uncomfortable, almost unbearable to watch. This performance is not just cinema. It is total immersion into madness and human pain, a before and after in the history of acting.
Your children are naked! They're hungry! That's what he says!
You do. Tell me why you're not with her if you love her so much.
I told her I'd come back, and I never went back, and now I gotta get back to her.
Why don't you go back?
I don't know.
Why don't you go
I
back?
don't know!
Joaquin Phoenix in The Master delivers one of the most physical and harrowing performances in history. His body deforms, slouched shoulders, twisted smile, vacant gaze, as if his soul were broken from within. Phoenix embodies Freddie Quell, a war veteran destroyed by alcohol and trauma, desperately searching for purpose. His body language is already a scream of pain. Twisted hands, spasmodic movements, ragged breathing. What makes it unique is how he oscillates between pure vulnerability and uncontrollable violence. In the interrogation scene with Philip Seymour Hoffman, every gesture seems unpredictable, as if at any moment he might break or explode.
Just as we're meant to believe that you were blind when you did it, as we're meant to believe that it was your own savings.
Björk in Dancer in the Dark delivers one of the most tragic performances ever seen. She wasn't an actress, but she poured her entire soul into Selma, a blind immigrant who sacrifices herself for her son. What's striking is not only what she portrays, but what she truly feels. Björk lived the shoot with such pain that she swore never to act again. Her fragility, awkward gestures, her way of singing as if it were the last time, turn every scene into an emotional dagger. There are moments where her vulnerability is so extreme, it's uncomfortable to keep watching, as if we were witnessing an open wound. A unique, unrepeatable performance so intense that afterwards, Björk chose never to return to cinema. Isabelle Adjani in Possession reaches an inhuman level of intensity. Her performance is an emotional storm, ranging from tenderness to the most visceral madness, all in a matter of seconds. Every scream, every movement of her body seems to tear the screen apart, as if she were possessed by something even she couldn't control. The tunnel scene is pure catharsis, an eruption of fury, pain, and insanity that has become one of the most legendary and extreme in cinema history. Adjani doesn't act. She exposes herself. She breaks. She becomes a human being in their rawest, most extreme form. A performance so brutal, it left her scarred for life. And if you want to discover how this role psychologically destroyed her, don't miss my video on performances that destroyed their actors.
Scared of you, I was scared.
Will you shut the fuck up and listen to me? Just listen to me!
Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon shows why he is one of the greatest actors of all time. Here he plays Sonny, an ordinary man who, in a desperate attempt to give meaning to his life, ends up trapped in a chaotic bank robbery. Pacino is electric, unpredictable. With an energy so real, it feels like he is improvising every word. Every gesture, every look reflects the anxiety, sweat, and vulnerability of a man on the verge of collapse. With this performance, Pacino not only solidified himself as a legend, he left us one of the most human and heartbreaking portrayals in history.
You liar!
Come on, Bess.
In her first role, Emily Watson immolates herself on screen. Bess is an innocent, naive, and devout woman who, out of love, is capable of destroying herself. And Watson makes it almost unbearable to watch. Her eyes shine with childlike faith, but behind them pulses anguish so brutal that every gesture feels like a real sacrifice. Lars von Trier's camera never leaves her, and she strips herself emotionally to a point bordering on inhuman. There is no artifice, no recognizable technique, only raw truth. A performance that not only marked her career, but was burned into cinema history.
I've changed my mind. Why did I ask for that?
I'm sorry. I don't know why you did it. I do it to him, I do. Oh!
Marlon Brando in Last Tango in Paris is the ultimate example of an actor bearing his soul to unbearable limits. Paul is a broken man, devastated by grief, oscillating between tenderness and raw brutality. Brando drags his own personal mourning and vomits it on screen, creating a performance that feels more real than life itself. The monologue scene in front of his wife's corpse is one of cinema's peaks, pure emotional laceration. Without filters, without masks. Brando doesn't act, he confesses. And he does so in such a visceral way that even today it feels disturbing, almost obscene, as if we were witnessing something too intimate to be shown.
He ran again.
Nastasia Kinski in Paris, Texas delivers one of the most moving and heartbreaking performances ever seen. Her character appears late in the film, but in just one scene, everything changes. Sitting behind a glass, she listens as her broken past is spoken back to her, and with only her face, she conveys an entire universe. Love, guilt, tenderness, and pain. No screams, no excess, only the barest, rawest truth. Kinski turns silence into poetry. Each tear feels like a collapse of the soul. That scene is the ultimate proof that no artifice is needed to reach perfection. Just a look containing the weight of an entire life. Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest delivers a performance that defined an era. Randall McMurphy is pure electricity, a man who turns every glance, every laugh, every outburst into an open challenge against the system. He is freedom made flesh against a machine determined to crush him. In his interpretation, there is madness, tenderness, and fury, all at the limit, without filters. His duel with Nurse Ratched is not just cinema, it is a universal clash between the human spirit and oppression. A performance so brutal, so iconic, that even today it is considered one of the absolute pinnacles of film history.
I've abandoned my boy!
Beg for the blood!
Just give me the blood, Eli. Let me get out of here. Give me the blood, Lord!
Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood didn't just give the best performance of his career, he gave the greatest performance in the history of cinema. His Daniel Plainview is a force of nature, a colossal portrait of ambition, greed, and destruction. Every word, every silence, every glance burns with unbearable intensity. Day-Lewis disappears and becomes a tragic monster, a man capable of selling his soul in exchange for power. His voice resounds like a biblical echo. His gestures are pure menace, and his explosions of rage seem torn from the depths of hell. And if you want to truly understand why this is, without question, the greatest performance of all time, I invite you to watch my video dedicated exclusively to this legendary role.